Hello everyone, welcome to The Pulse. This is our anxiety reduction course that we would normally run in schools, but we thought we'd put some of the episodes on here. We are not claiming to cure your anxiety, but we're going to work through some ideas about what anxiety is about, how perhaps we can reduce our anxiousness, and have a little chat about how it feels. If you want to get in touch, all the details are down below. So before we start, just a little trigger warning, we are talking about anxiety as an emotion in this. So if this kind of chat actually brings up your anxiety or is just going to be triggering for you, please switch off and wait for a new video. We're also not here as mental health practitioners. We're just sharing a few tips and tricks that help reduce anxiety in our lives. What we'd love you to do is find yourself a workbook, whether that is just an exercise book, or if you want us to send you one, give us a text, give us a message below, and just make it yours. Decorate it. Buy one that's just very you. Make it yours, and this is going to be your book where you write down some of what you're learning and some of your sort of tracking of what you're doing. There is nothing new in what we're going to bring you, but hopefully in the way we say it will help you to work through some of your anxious behaviour now. This is not a substitute from speaking to someone or speaking to a professional, but it might just help you, especially if you're just struggling with low level anxiety. I wonder how you would describe your anxiety. If you could draw your anxiety, what would it look like? Why don't you have a go in your booklet? Draw or write or make a symbol for what anxiety is. And it doesn't have to be something that's going to be shown in the Tate Modern or produced as a Netflix drama. It's just your words and your drawings. It could be a scribble, it could be a doodle. I don't mind what it looks like as long as it describes how anxiety feels to you. Now, for me, anxiety has always been about the word of tightness. So if I was going to give an example of a time when I feel the emotion of anxiety start to build up in me, it's normally when I think I'm going to be late for something. Now, I especially feel this when I drive. I can feel the difference in me if I'm running late. My chest gets tighter, my hands might clutch the wheel still. And if you have the privilege of being in the car with me, perhaps my language would change to a more negative. Let's leave it there. I might start breathing differently, and I can feel that tension. I can feel that tightness in my chest. So I wonder, where do you physically feel anxiety? Whereabouts in your body do you feel it? Being late is definitely something that triggers anxiety. There's something else I can think of, but maybe we'll leave that until we know each other a little bit better. Why though? Why is it about being late? Well, I think it's because I grew up in a household where there was a sort of unwritten rule of you were 10 minutes early to something, and that was what being on time was. And so for me, I have this unwritten rule in my head, this belief, this mindset that being late is a bad thing. So we shouldn't be late to something. And so therefore, when that mindset is being threatened because I am slow and I run late for things, or because there's traffic, or because whatever is making me late, when that rule of don't be late is threatened, my brain starts thinking I'm breaking a rule. A rule is being threatened. And therefore, I start going into that threat response of fight, flight, all those things. And so it causes that tension. So it's the breaking of the life rule that is causing this tension. I wonder if there's some unwritten rules in your life, some beliefs or some mindsets that you have, which when they're threatened, when you think they're going to be broken, it causes you to become anxious. Each week, as we go through this, we're going to give different techniques that people have found help their anxiety. Now, some of them won't help you and some of them will, but all of them take more than one go. So if it didn't work the first time, it doesn't mean it will never work for you. We'll look at why later, but you have to keep practicing the tedious, boring stuff sometimes. I want you to put one hand on your chest and the other hand on your abdomen, just below your belly button. So put your thumb into your belly button or on your belly button and the rest of the hand underneath. But I want you to breathe in slowly through your nose for a count of 3 to 5, whichever feels more comfortable for you. But breathe right down into your body as if you're trying to push that part that your bottom hand is on, as if you're trying to push that out as you fill with air. So breathe in, right down into your body, and breathe out through your mouth, slowly calming down your breathing. So the hand that is on your abdomen should push out. The hand that's on your chest should stay relatively still. Now, when you're having a panic attack, very often you're not going to be thinking, right, hang on, hand on here, hand on my stomach, breathe. But what we can do is start to practice and bring it into our everyday life. So I've worked with several young people who found it really helpful that at the end of a school day or at the end of a full day, they lie back on their bed and they do this while lying down on their bed for about 2 or 3 minutes. And it just is a practice that they've brought into their life. And the more we do it, the better it is for us. So as we feel that panic rise, we will be able to start catching it and beginning to practice this breathing. So some quick fire questions. Why do I need anxiety? So we need anxiety as an emotion because it is the emotion that alerts us to danger. Whether it is danger or not, it alerts us to the fact that something's not right. And because of that, it has to be unpleasant to get our mind to click, oh, that's weird. It has to be an unpleasant feeling to capture our brain and to make us stop and see what's going on. Is anxiety a weakness? Absolutely not. We all need it at different points in our life. The difference is sometimes it becomes unmanageable, and we are going to think about how we can get back into managing our anxiety. As we've said, anxiety can sometimes be goal or rule based. The reason why we get anxious is because there is an unwritten goal or unwritten rule that we feel is not being met or is being broken. Anxiety is making us ready to react. Again, that's why we feel these physical symptoms, because it's making us ready to react. When we practice deep breathing, we're taking oxygen in, and that helps our brain to calm down, our body to relax. When we're feeling anxious, we tend to cut out that bit because we're getting ready to fight or flight. Our breathing needs to change for that. So to counteract it, doing this deep breathing will help. Anxiety actually hits that analytical part of your brain, you know, that overthinking part of your brain that we all love. But it hits that part because it's trying to strategize, it's trying to make sense and help you react to therefore survive. A couple of questions to take away with you and to journal with. The first would be, when do you feel like running away from a situation? What is it about that situation that makes you want to run? As long as it doesn't trigger you, think about one of the times you've had anxiety recently. What body reactions did you have? How long did they last? Think about it analytically. And finally, just start thinking about the goals that you have, the rules that you might have, the mindsets that you might have grown up with, and whether they affect your day-to-day living. That's quite hard to do sometimes, but have a go at doing that. And so lastly, we've got a creative activity for you, which you will see next.